think right now we have to have that confidence just in every situation, no matter what it is. You know, one thing you never lose is your confidence as a basketball player. And, you know, individually, that's things that we bring to the table. Nobody can give it to us. You know, we shouldn't have to go search and find it. It should already be there. We're 30 games, some games in. It's enough talking. We've talked enough. It's about getting the job done. And, you know, we're not doing that right now. So we just have to kind of go out there and compete and try to win. And that doesn't even guarantee success. But we have to at least give ourselves a chance doing that.
In this league, you have to stay as confident as you can because things could turn fast. If you don't, things can go the other way. You can end up being a team that was projected to be pretty decent. You can be pretty bad. And it happens all the time. So if you lose faith and confidence individually, you lose as a team. You have no chance at all. So if you want to give yourself a chance, then you have to keep coming in every day. You have to keep facing the music. You got to find a way to eventually get better and eventually pull those out. You know, your season can turn around.
Always loved playing against the Heat, and the only reason I'm saying that is because I respected the Heat, and I knew that they were a team that we had to be at our best to beat.
Dang, pretty move. Dang knocks it away. Wade thought he got hit. 3-on-1. Dang underneath is fouled, and he puts it in. Dang knocks it down.
So mentally, you kind of had to build that rivalry in your head and just, you know, no matter what we're going through them, you know, instead of just hoping that someone else beats the Heat, you always wanted to be the one that is, you know, beats the Heat.
Here's Dang from center court. Yes!
Another one of those guys that I'm glad he's on our team because I hated playing against him. You know, Shane Battier was that guy last year. And Ray, too, just those late-game daggers. Some way he always gets open, and he's knocking shots down. And Luol was the same way, you know, getting an offensive rebound, making a stop, making a big defensive play, knocking down an open shot you know, in the corner or the wing. And, you know, just to have a guy of that caliber talent is huge for us.
Luol and the Bulls played host to the rival Heat on March 27, 2013. A date every Chicago fan and player had circled because Miami was coming to town with a 27-game win streak.
I personally knew about 10 games before we played the Heat that the streak was still going to be going. I really didn't see anyone, no disrespect to any team, I didn't see anyone in that schedule that was going to beat them. I knew that the guys here were feeling it and they were going to go for it.
Boozer with his 15th rebound. Here's Dan. Robinson just as quick down the other end. Banked it in with under a second left. They are on their feet here in Chicago as Gibson fires.
We really did not want the Heat to keep the streak going, especially to come in Chicago. And, you know, for years and years, everyone's going to be talking about that streak. Instead, we took that game as we want everyone to remember where the streak ended. And as a team, we wanted that game really bad.
You just enjoyed the second longest streak in NBA history. Give the Bulls credit. They played hard. They outfought Miami.
Those are just games that, you know, you'll always remember, and just because of the battles and everything.
Danny's a very young pro still, and when I first met with him, what we talked about was we have a history. It's not so long ago that we were just facing the Indiana Pacers 3 years ago in the playoffs for the first time, and he was the #1 option who we were preparing for.
There's James, accelerates, rejected by Granger. Granger with the runner, and he has picked things up.
I just think it was two teams that were really, really prepared. I think the target was really on the back of Miami, not just for us, but for a lot of other teams. You know, everyone really got up to play Miami during those years.
George touch pass to Granger. 10 straight points by Indiana.
Danny can shoot the ball, you know, as quick as anybody, and when he get hot, he can get hot.
Granger fires the three. That's his third.
I still have nightmares about that series because, like you said, it was 2-1, and we had Game 4 in Indiana, and that was our chance, to really, advance the franchise.
George DeGranger lines up the 3-ball, buries it.
And D-Wade and LeBron went off, and they tied it up at 2-2, and then, it's back in their favor. Now we're going back to Miami, and they closed us out.
Wade flips it down beautifully. Wade to James. Wade on the run. It counts at the foul. James spinning. Chalmers at the buzzer, puts in the 3. Mario Chalmers from downtown. And the Miami Heat going back to the Eastern Conference Finals.
That was a pivotal moment just because that was as close as I had been, to really advancing, to those Eastern Conference Finals.
Here comes George, about to step and Spross, what a move, and counts on the foul.
I was really excited to see the development of the Indiana team, especially Paul and how he kind of took off in that series. But then, once again, the Heat was just too much for him. I think the experience kind of overwhelmed us back then. So there's a lot of history between these teams the last 4 years.
It's a little weird. We've had so many battles with Indiana and then Danny, and now he's here. So I'm excited for Danny because, I know the mentality that he's going through with wanting to prove himself, wanting to get back to that elite level, that all-star level, which he once was. So, this guy could be the limit. He just has to, work and continue to work on his body, continue to work on his health, and, everything else will take care of itself.
Double team by Miller. Gets away, flips it up and in. Danny burying the turnaround. And there's Granger to the rescue for Miami. Granger for 3. Come on. He's feeling it. And gets it to Granger. Granger for 3. And another gorgeous play by Danny Granger. Out to Granger for 3. Come on. It is, baby.
It is time for Miami Heat basketball on Sunsports. The Heat have simply been better away from home. A road game on the last day of 2014. Yet another opportunity to continue that trend. Oh, yeah, the Pacers fans are headed in the field house and ready for some midday action. Time for the Heat to come into the building. Now, that's clean. That's how you wrap up the year right there. That is excellent work by the co-captain and 3-time champion, D-Wade. You want more clean? Check out these two cats and have the broadcast breakdown. That's Eric Reed and Tony Fiorentino. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
On a bitter, cold New Year's Eve day in Indianapolis, the two teams that met in the last 2 Eastern Conference Finals meet again. Only this time, the Heat and Pacers are under the 500 mark, but both clubs getting healthier and hopefully better as the new year approaches. Second of 4 matchups, the first inside Bankers Life Fieldhouse, where we always hope you enjoy every bounce and basket right along with us. And Miami Heat basketball on Sunsports, always proudly presented by AT&T Uverse. Good afternoon on this New Year's Eve day to Heat Nation.
Time they don't seem to play hard enough or with the same effort that the opposing team is playing with, and things just seem to fall apart, and then they snowball. Coach Spoelstra talked about trying to stop the bleeding. When a team gets on a roll, make a couple of stops, make a couple of good plays at the other end. The Heat missed some layups at one end, and they resulted in baskets at the other end. Those are 4-point plays. You can't afford that when you're on the road against a team on a roll. And that's part of the problem that the Heat have had this season with the third quarter.
And there's a look, one half to the next. Miami brilliant in the first half. And I don't know what the right adjective would be to describe their play. Not good enough would probably sum it up.
They're physical. They like to get into the painted area. But between the Birdman and Hassan, they did a real good job in the painted area, both in scoring, both in rebounding. They were allowing one shot at the basket, and they were doing a good job defensively to cause the Pacers, some of their big guys, to at least think a little bit when they got the ball in the lane area. And Hassan did a good job with his length, his positioning, You saw the block shot there. He got another block later on. But he did a real good job of just being at the rim, the length that the Heat need to play a team like this. You can see the battling there. He got elbowed in the jaw, which was missed by the officials. He got hit in the top of the head. He missed that one. And then a great pass and a great catch inside with the finish. So the encouraging part about it is the two bigs for the Heat, the two centers, really did a nice job tonight. You can see they blocked 5 shots between them. They had the 14 rebounds. And if you get 17 points out of the center position, that combined spot, the combined play of those two, those are very good numbers.
Must feel like hearing from Jim Moore. Playoffs. That was your team play of the game, your Cleveland Clinic team play of the game. A pretty behind-the-back setup by Chris Bosh to Hassan Whiteside. The most enjoyable moment of today's game at Indiana. Basket of Heat basketball right along with us, win or lose. Final score again today, Indiana 106, Miami 95. You can tune in tonight at 8 or at midnight or tomorrow at noon. You'll see a replay of the Heat and Pacers delivered by South Florida's Honda dealers. For Tony Fiorentino, Jason Jackson, and our entire crew, I'm Eric Reed. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year, Heat Nation. Here's your final take.
Let's have a good